Kaylor Taylor is a former Random House book editor. She's the author of 7 books, among them Brown Sugar, which she has Brown Sugar 2 and 3 for sale tonight for $10. Make sure you, $10. Not so bad. Her best-selling 4-book erotic fiction series, Wanderlust, Erotic Travel Tales, and her novel, The X Chronicles. She has 4 more books coming out between 2013 and 2014 in the erotic novella series, Insignificant Others, with a best-selling author, Pink, with a Y. Check out Carol's site, www.brownsugarbooks.com. Like I said earlier, there are fantastic erotica books out there, and 2 are on our table. So let's welcome Carol to us.
Thank you. Before I get started, I just want to say, Nigel. Nigel. Yes. Hit me up later. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. I know how to swim. So, hey, I ain't playing. So, I'll be reading from my, an excerpt from my novel, The X Chronicles. And though The X Chronicles is my first novel, it's my 2nd book, as you guys heard. Thank you. I have a best-selling Black erotic fiction series called Brown Sugar. And with The X Chronicles, I wanted to build on what Brown Sugar started, which really was talking about the many different types of relationships that we have and how they can affect us, for better or for worse. So the novel is really about the complicated relationships we have and why we keep certain people in our lives, even though they hurt us. But mostly the book is about not what happens, because shit's gonna happen. It's how we handle what happens that really defines us. So the X Chronicles, which is basically sex and the city meets waiting to exhale, of course, is set in New York City, of course. And we all know, because we live here, that New York City is full of emotional landmines. And this is where 4 very different friends search for Mr. Right Now, and sometimes find him. Precious, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Precious, a struggling writer, finds her fiancé Darius in bed with another woman. Though she leaves him, good for her, she still loves him. The novel has been called funny, sexy, heartbreaking. I simply hope that you will find it inspiring, because ultimately it's about faith in oneself, trust in one's friends, and the sacrifices that we make in the name of love and lust. Nigel? Are you getting this message?
I am very much getting this
Loud and
message.
clear. So this excerpt is about Precious and Darius, and it's self-explanatory, so I'm just going to jump right in. Pushing back the duvet, Precious pads into the bathroom, shading her eyes from the blinding light coming in from the window. She looks in the mirror. Her eyes are puffy and accented by dark circles. She has a pimple. No, 2. Her skin has the greasy sheen of someone who didn't wash her face before dropping drunkenly into bed, then falling on the floor and staying there until 6:30 in the morning. We won't even talk about her hair, which is standing up around her head. She spent yet another night drinking with her girlfriends and talking endlessly about her no-good cheating ex, and then swearing again never to talk about him. She won't keep that promise. She brushes her teeth, splashes water on her face, picks at the pimples, and then sighs. Making her way back to the bedroom, she slips on her favorite tattered sweatpants, sneakers, and her zippered hoodie to keep out the September chill. Raking her hair back with her fingers, she pulls the hood over her head, grabs her wallet and cell, praying she won't run into anyone she knows. Only people on the walk of shame would be out so early on a Saturday morning, she figures. Stepping out of her building, Precious walks smack into her no-good cheating ex. Damn, why don't exes just move to another planet when you break up with them? 3 months later, and she still isn't over Darius. He is her deep chocolate dream. Fat, sexy lips, hot, banging body, hung like a horse, all her favorite things. After running into each other about twice a week, they'd progressed from screaming matches to stony silences with murderous looks, then finally to how's it going with fake smiles. She was gearing up to full-fledged sentences to show him that she'd moved on, and she'd be gorgeously decked out when she did it. And now this. Darius is walking his dog and plushing a plastic container of fruit salad from the grocery store around the corner. He's freshly showered and wearing baggy sweatpants that look sexy on him. Her sweats just look baggy on her. Hey, he says, kicking some trash with his sneaker. Hey, she mumbles, looking everywhere but at him. How's it going? He asks with a fake smile. How's it going? Is he kidding? I look like I'm sneaking out of my apartment with toothpaste probably dried to my face. Good, it's good, she answers, then thinks, good grief. I can't even form sentences when I'm so close to him. As they both stand there, smiling awkwardly in the evil patch of early morning sun, his dog starts to pee on her garbage can. Great. Hey, stop it, Mouse, cut it out, Darius chides the bulldog. This is disingenuous and entirely for her benefit, as it's probably why he stopped there in the first place. Look, he says, dramatically flipping his locks out of his face, I know this is awkward. I've been meaning to stop by to get my stuff. The stuff I threw out, she asks. He looks at her. When she smiles, he laughs. You always had a funny sense of humor, Precious. She doesn't bother deconstructing the sentence. Brains aren't his selling point. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's upstairs in a shopping bag. Can I get it? It would just take a minute. Are you on the way out, he asks. Not really caring, he just ran into her walking out of her building. He certainly hasn't changed. He's still selfish and self-centered, and he is still hot, fine, and fuckable. Her panties are soaking wet. After closing the door to the apartment, she turns to Darius. He smiles a big, wide grin and opens his arms. How about a hug, baby girl? It's been a minute. He really is beautiful. And she's missed him so much. So, instead of stabbing him with her keys, she steps into his arms. His muscular biceps, outlined by his tight thermal top, envelop her. He smells the same, like musk and wet dreams. His locks frame her face as he puts his cheek against her. They stand like this, not saying a word, as Miles roams the apartment, finding familiar smells. Precious feels the outline of his body, his dick hardening against her. I miss you, baby, he whispers. She can barely hear him. The blood is pounding so loudly in her head. Babe, I can't apologize enough. It was just a fuck. She meant nothing to me. Precious sighs. It's the same thing all over again. He'd sung the same sad song for a month after she'd walked in on him and that white girl who was sitting on his face. No wonder he hadn't heard her come in. He lifts her chin and looks in her eyes. You know you overreacted, right? It's you I love. You know that. I asked you to marry me. I've never asked anyone else. Precious pulls her chin out of his hand, but hasn't the strength to step away. How could I ever trust you again? How long have you been lying to me, cheating on me, screwing other women? Darius pulls her closer. We were getting married in a few months, P. I'd be spending the rest of my life with you. It was a last fling thing. If you want me to promise I'll never do it again. Fine. Okay. I'll never do it again. But baby, what's done is done. I want you back. I miss you. I hate myself for missing you. But I do. Precious feels her resolve slipping. She can't think straight so close to him. They've been together for 2 years, and it's been 3 months since she's gotten laid. She wants him. She always wants him. And she's horny. They stand there in silence for several moments. Then Darius slips his hand into They stand there in silence for several moments. Then Darius slips his hand inside the waistband of her sweats, down her ass and between her legs. His fingers find the wetness there. And when she moans, he smiles. You've missed me too. Take off your clothes. Precious knows she shouldn't do it. He's bad news. He's bad, bad, bad. But he's so bad, he's pretty good. Knowing better but not caring, she steps back and pulls off her hoodie. She kicks off her sneakers, steps out of her sweats, and stands there in her panties and undershirt. Darius smiles and looks her up and down. You're still so sweet and juicy. Slipping the rubber band off his wrist, he ties his hair back and says, undress me. Precious still wants him. It's always been like this with them. A physical attraction so strong, just standing near him makes her heart pound. Even after his betrayal, it hasn't changed. She's no longer controlled. Her body wants him. Her mind is just going through the motions. She pulls his top over his head and his sweats off as he steps out of his sneakers. He stands for a minute and his jockey is watching her. She's watching the bulge in his pants. Then he takes her hand and pulls her to the bed. This is how Precious finds her ex's mouth between her legs. He looks good enough to eat. She apparently is. She lets her head fall back and gives in to the sensations of his tongue stroking her clit. He knows just how she likes it, how rough, how fast. When to lick, when to suck. As he lies in the V between her thighs, she knows she is lost. He's the man of her dreams, the man she prayed for, the man she was going to have kids with, the house, the cat, and the dog, all of it. And he'd shown up, and they'd fallen in love, and they were to be married. How can she possibly start over with someone else? She still loves him. She loves everything about him. His walk, the dimple in his cheek, when he smiles, the way he used to fall asleep, still inside her. How they talk 5 times a day and hide little gifts around her apartment. How can they not have another Christmas together? Not have another Thanksgiving gorging themselves on turkey and pie? How can this be the end? So, this is how they end up back at square one. In her bed, their clothes on the floor. His dog eating her favorite sandals, her cat hissing at it from the windowsill. It was just like old times.